everybody. I hope you're doing well today. Yeah, I'm gonna start where I was last time because last time I said that to create real freedom, we gotta share everything or work together as one. But we have to start with some talents actually. We have to start with how to shine with our talents, with our passions, without dimming other people's light. And that's a tough one. So I want to talk a little bit about the ego today, because real and sovereign freedom can be achieved by working all together. But we grow in a world that actually we have to go into competitions all against each other. That starts at school and everything, and it continues all through our life. And we're kind of raised or conditioned to think that we have to beat everybody else because we should be the best. But actually, is it the real solution? And it's kind of tough to develop some talents without comparing ourselves to each other. And it's all about developing talent and to shine and even take the lead sometime. And it's one way or the other actually. Either we want to take the lead and we dim other people light, or it's the opposite and we don't want to take the lead because we don't want to look like we think we're better than the others. So it's either having a big ego or trying to be erased a little bit. But the ego is kind of important, and the ego is kind of the voice inside of us that is the materialization of our consciousness, if you want. That is there. The ego is kind of cutting the puzzle. I always said that all human beings all together, everybody is one together, and that we all cut like a puzzle and we have to find a way to fit everybody together. If we can take that picture here, the ego is a little bit what cut all the pieces, all the different pieces of the puzzle that makes every pieces unique. And that part of us, that ego, makes us think, wait a minute, I am human being, I am human, I have a consciousness, I have an ego, I have emotions, I have some needs too. I need to fulfill them. Nobody will take care of me, so I will do it, and I will do it against everybody else because we're all different, and I'm my own piece of the puzzle. But the real answer here is to acknowledge that being better with the other might be the real solution, instead of being better than the others. So being better with the others should be better than being better than the others. We have to be better, but all together. And it's kind of impossible to get rid of that ego. It's what makes us human, actually. Yeah? It makes us who we are, and it even makes us experience life as it is. No ego, we wouldn't do any mistakes because the meaning of life is to live and learn, and learning our bads and our wrong and our rights, but also learning or remembering that we're all one and we're all divine. And if we don't remember that, the karma is going to make sure we're going to remember it one way or another. And sometimes karma can bring things that makes us feel not good. So no ego. We always we know that we're divine, we know that we're God, and we can't experience life. So the ego, it's really important, and everybody has an ego. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Jesus later, and you're going to see everybody's human, everybody's an ego, and it's not a matter of getting rid of it. It's a matter of building it, destroying it, and positioning it to use it as for a greater good, for a better good. Because everybody can shine, and everybody has. There's a time for everybody on heaven like on earth, and everybody can take a time to shine, and we just have to find the good moment to shine and to bring for the better good for everybody. And it takes passions, talents, pride, leadership, and of course the most important, the glue that stick all the egos together, humility or humbleness. I don't know which one to use actually, but let's say humility, so we can all think and all dance together. And this is how we can share the world all together, with humility and saying that, we all gods, we all make mistakes also, but let's just try to shine the way we can to uplift the world the way we can uplift it. So there you go. My name is Mick, and welcome to D'un inconnu à l'autre, from a stranger to another. My now bilingual podcast and show. You can find me on Spotify and other podcast platform as well, Apple, and on my website. Just here, the www.michaelbodart.com, and you can also subscribe to that channel just here. I have maybe 8, 9 episodes in English with this one, and also I have a bunch of content in French too. So here we go. Let's start here with the ego. Actually, just gonna find my note. And also, I won't show any visual on that episode too, so you can just put the sound in the background or the video in the background, and or listen it to the podcast afterwards. It's gonna be the way I'm gonna proceed today. It's gonna last maybe usually it lasts an hour, so I'm gonna try to make it last that long. So I want to start by talking about because we have to find a way to work all together as one. That's the next mission we have, the next exam. It's not to give our power in the end of another savior or another politicians or whatever, because we might fall in the same trap over and over again. But this one, the ego, since we all have it in us all together, it's kind of a lesson to discover yourself, to look inside of yourself, to discover your own ego and then put it at the right place, to use it properly. You can build it, destruct it, and then you can make it shine as the best you can, because it is a way, um, once we realize that we all a different piece, unique piece of that puzzle that we all together, we can still make shine our shapes and our unique unicity, uniqueness, in a way that you're still unique and you're still shining, but let's shine all together with all our unique features, let's say. So we can ask ourselves a lot of questions lately, because the world is transforming, of course. So first, if we want to share the world all together in peace, harmony, sharing our resources, and correcting the wrongs that we're doing for so long, we should ask ourselves first, how can I be a better person? And that's a tough one, because it's especially in that world where it's so polarized and everybody's thinking different things. It's kind of a tough one. How can I be a better person for that world? Because like I say pretty much every episodes now, when you become a better person inside of yourself, you have to transform yourself first, and after that you can throw that amazingness in that in the energy of the universe, and then create a better world. So how can I be a better person, and how can I live that transformation with myself? How can I be more patient with myself, with the others? How can I reach my goals, how can I reach what I want to do in life? And it takes a lot of ego sometimes to go where you want, but also, like I said, we were taught that we have to compete with other people, and sometimes karma can get in the way and not bring you where you want to be, because being mean never pays. How can I make my neighbor not annoy me anymore? That's a legit question. But like I said, you gotta look inside of yourself to manage that. And all those answers actually, they come from inside of yourself. And you have to find it right behind your ego. This is what I'm saying. If you want to find those really legitimate answer inside of yourself, you gotta just push your ego a little bit, and be like, oh, the answers are there, because the egos are blocking those answers in a way that The ego is saying, no, I am human, I deserve that, and you deserve it, but your ego put your goals away from you, by wanting it, by wanting your goals. If you want your goals, if you want to achieve something, you put your desire right in front of the goals itself, but if you push your ego aside a little bit and you believe in your desires, by just being yourself and loving life for what it is, you can achieve what you want, and you can be a better person for the world. And this is how the world's going to transform anyway. So you have to change yourself first. Like I said, your perceptions from the inside will change the perception from the outside. We talked about it in other episodes anyway. I won't come back on the topic. It's all about, like, it's as simple as more you're happy with yourself inside of yourself, more the world is gonna be beautiful to you. It's simple expression, but it works with everything in life, and I swear. So it is the way, and sometimes it's hard, and we live a lot of problems, but at the same time, you can, there's a lot of way to work inside of ourselves, to clean up inside of ourselves, getting our head clean, like alcohol and drugs wise, to just try to avoid that, meditate a little bit, etc., etc. Anyway, and this is, and sometimes when we don't feel right, our ego, it's set up to protect ourselves or to defend ourselves, but at the same time, the ego, it's what can take the hits, but if you put your ego aside in a fight, you cannot yourself take the hit because you're God, so you can become invincible if you put your ego at the right place, of course, instead of blocking the hits and taking the hits with your ego. And after that, if you feel better inside of yourself, you translate those vibrations. You can take them as good vibrations and throw them in the universe to create a better world, a better vibe for your surrounding, but that's also for yourself. And from nature, from human being nature, everything else will annoy you less. Your neighbor won't become annoying, and yourself, you're gonna annoy you less than sometimes even we can be mad about ourselves for reacting like this or like that. That can go away, but it's all about the ego. It's all about talking with our ego and saying, okay, I don't have to react like that, it doesn't have to affect me, etc. When we talk about spirituality, all religions, and even beyond that, we think that we have to completely erase our ego, uh, to let our divinity talk. Like the ego is not essential or something, but that's not quite true, because the ego, it's useful. You can even learn to use it, and it's a part of yourself, like it's a part of myself too. So we cannot get rid of that. Like, okay, I cannot have any ego. Um, it's quite hard to break our ego, actually, to break it, and after that let it there. You can feel that, because your ego, it's what you make feel the it. If you feel it broken, you can feel broken, but it's still there. It's your ego that's feeling it. It's not even yourself, because you are God and you are divine, period. And it's impossible to, like I said, to erase it. So your ego is not here and you just shine. And because it's quite tough to avoid bad comments on Facebook, or to avoid someone who doesn't think like us, or someone who wants to take away our rights or something. If you didn't have any ego, you can let the government do pretty much anything to you, and you would be like, oh, I don't mind. I'll just stay in my house with a mask, and not talking to nobody, and I'll take it. And of course, at one point, yeah, you have to say, no, this is not what I want. It's still your ego's talking, but you can use it for the greater good, like I said. Because anyway, your ego and your divinity are really entangled together. You are divine because you have an ego, and it's not you are divine when you put your ego aside, but it's most likely to be you are divine because you have an ego. that divinity use your ego to correct itself, to become better. And that's the purpose of life, that spiritual path that we live on, that we try to work on every day, even if we don't know. It use our ego to make mistakes, to react that way, to think a little bit more this way, to correct all the distortions in your light, in your vibrations, and to make your spiritual path better, to surf on your spiritual path, let's say, so no ego, no learning, no evolution, no divinity. Because the purpose of the ego is to help you remember that behind that ego you are divine. If you cannot look behind that ego, you don't have the tool to remember that you're divine, so you have to have an ego to look behind the ego and look and remember that you're divine. That's kind of the role of the ego, and that's why we need it in our life. So, and best example I can find, the best example I can find right now, I've been raised in religion, like I say all the time, in and watching on like Jesus decisions and everything. And there's one part of the Bible that I'm always question a little bit. I have you ever heard of the Saint Anger, when Jesus was flipping table as a server or bartender? Flipping table is really tempting sometimes, by the way. But you know Jesus actually is how he was shining his story, and I always took Jesus as an example of humility. He was kind of perfect actually, and he even had powers, but he was hanging out with homeless person, prostitute, and never judging those people. He was even washing their feet sometime. And you really need a lot of humility to wash somebody else's feet, or even like someone you don't know. Oh man, don't worry. How are you? My name is Jesus, and I'm gonna wash your feet. That's kind of nobody does that anymore. But it takes a lot of humility to wash someone that you don't know and say, I'm gonna wash your feet. And especially when you know that you have all the power in the world, and that you can heal everybody and you can teach everybody, but you still wash their feet. um, he knew his mission, and he was still saying that. But in that book here, I always refer to that book, the Tao Teaching. Here is the Bible of the Taoism, let's say. They say that the master teach without teaching, without talking, just by his actions. So if Jesus wanted to teach humility, he had to be more humble than everybody else. It's not by saying you should be humble, you should be humble, that will work. And it's not like saying to people, um, there's another way around with the government right now. There's another way that they will understand. We have to show them that there's another way around. This is how it works. Don't the master teach without teaching. That's how we do it. But let's go back to the Saint Anger actually, because it's kind of at one point we have to say, okay, Jesus had kind of an ego at that point. He went in the temple. He saw that like people were selling things in the temple or in the church, or call it whatever you want. And there was a blasphematory. There was a blasphemy to do what people was doing. And he started to flip the table and scream at people. And you can say, oh, maybe that was just a saint anger. That was God or whatever, or maybe that was his human side that was like, okay, this is enough, and enough is enough. I have to do something. And this is why they call it saint actually, is because he still used that ego at the right place, right moment, to show his teachings. That sometimes it's useful to react when it's a good moment, when it's for the greater good. It's useful to take your ego, and not saying, oh, I want that for myself, I need that for myself because I deserve everything, but to say that is wrong, and I'm going to tell everybody that that is wrong, because I want the people to understand that I'm doing that for the greater good. So, from one way, we can say that even Jesus had an ego in that story. And that story for me, it's also a teaching of self-confidence. When you can have confidence in yourself and say, okay, I believe in my discernment, I believe in my power of knowing, and I believe that I know right from wrong, and I have to say it, and that's kind of a tough one, because everybody thinks differently. But he believed in his values, in that his own divinity was sovereign and noble in a way, and he had a great capacity to discern right from wrong. He was Jesus after all, but at the same time, we all have that capacity of discerning the right from wrongs by the feeling, by your instinct, by your own divinity. And by God that is inside, was inside of Jesus, is inside of Jesus, but also inside of you, each of you, and that can project itself outside of you, to create the world, because this is how we see the world anyway. Because this is how we experience the world and the universe as it is, by God inside of yourself, and you can make that God talk, and or feel that God, and take your ego and say, okay, my ego needs to talk right here, right now. So, and how can we do that? By building our ego, destroying our ego, and positioning our ego. But those teaching in like a tangible way, it's gonna be a little bit vague. It really takes a lot of different steps, like I said. And there you go. I'm gonna talk about a little bit of my way to seeing those steps, those like building and destroying the ego. Um, to be able to control your ego, and when you control better your ego, you can control yourself better, and that's a perk even in your day-to-day life, not being entangled or caught in your emotions or in your odd reactions because you feel that you're hurt or you're susceptible or something. It's all about controlling your ego. And we can take Jesus' anger for an example. There's a time for everybody on heaven like on earth. It's a quote from the Bible actually, and it vibrates a lot with me because there's a time for everything. There's also a time for to make mistakes or to party or whatever. There's a time for everything, but you have to find the right timing. And there's a time to make your ego flash, your ego shine. It's not a bad thing itself, for the greater good, and just not to make you dim other people light. It's the only thing that you should not do, because that evolution, that transformation that we're living right now, we have to do it all together and to rise above altogether. And it's like I said, it's kind of tough in a system of competitions where, since we're at school, even before school, we were taught to be better than everybody. But this is where we start, huh? When we're young, and we learn that we have to build our ego. We got to take over everybody and say, okay, I'm gonna be the best in my class. I'm gonna be the best at sport. I'm gonna, be the even if you're a kid, you want to run the fastest. You want to be better than the other. And let me tell you, when you grow up as a twin, sometimes that competition can really be, it's a kind of a day-to-day thing. Um, but after creating that ego, that desire of having some talents, we can destroying that ego and then make it shine. Also, note, I want to tell you that I'm gonna put different aspects of how to build and make shine our ego, but it depends on everybody's life. It's not per se. It's not in order. For me, I learned all those different steps in different ways, or in a different order, but I put it in an order that I think it makes the more sense chronologically from a young age to when we grow up, let's say. But it's not because I put it in that order that it's gonna resonate with you in that order. So make it uh, take what you can take out of it. And also, I'm gonna finish with humility because I think the humility will glue everything together. And once I put humility in the equation, you can even like rewatch the video or think a little bit about that because when you put humility in the equations, you can revisit all the other points and make it and add humility to it and make it shine the right way, you know, because it's really with humility that you can position your ego to make it shine the right way. So here we go. So the most vague lesson, and it's pretty much it's really hard to know how exactly to do it, or to know how exactly we decide why exactly we decided to experience life as it is. You know, if we knew why we would be here in life experiencing that life, we wouldn't be here. You know, it would be like using a cheat code in a video game, the big video game that life is. If we knew why we reincarnated or we went on the planet as a divine soul, um, if we knew the purpose, it would be a cheat code, of course. It would be less fun actually. Our soul would be like, ah, that's boring. I already have the cheat code from the game, and it would be even maybe dangerous for the karma itself. But if we realize, because the game is about realizing our talents and our passions, and in the world where we're all in competition, I think it's the best. You know, it's kind of a chaotic world, but it's the best way to realize that we have talents and we have passions and we can make that work. And there's a lot of talents or passions that come to us, especially at birth. You know, one of my good friend in Quebec, he drums like he is amazing when he drums. You know, and I think first time I saw him drumming, he was 4 years old or something like that. You're like, okay, you got that talent from birth. You know, even for myself, you know, I'm gonna try to be humble here, but I had the writing really easy for me all my life, and I don't know where it come from, but you know, I always wrote, and I had it pretty much easy to maybe you know, I can make typos or whatever, but to fit words all together, it makes sense in my head, you know. So um, you know, you can be an artist, a carpenter, a physician. Sometimes you have some talents and some passions that it's easy for you to make it grow and make it better, you know. The only mistake that we make with those talents and those passions is to think first that we're lucky and it's just easy, you know. Um, and that we should just do it and have glory and fame with it, you know. Um, the way we should take it is to develop yourself through those talents. You know, it's kind of a we all creative beings. Our role on this planet is to be creative. We should take those talents and develop ourselves as human beings with those talents, and not the opposite. You know, not develop and not develop just those talents a part of us. If you're good at writing or at playing music, by the way, or if you're good at, I don't know, building stuff or um, in math or whatever you can be good at, you can develop yourself with those talents, you know. That's the way we create in life. We all have our missions in life, and we all are a piece of the puzzle with 8 billion pieces of puzzle. We absolutely need to have some passions and some talents. And like when I was talking about freedom last time, I was talking that it's time now to create a community that where we can share those talents, you know, not to work for in a job that doesn't get us to create and to share our talents. Now we can, you know, instead of watching some TV for some show for 4 hours a day or something like that, there's so much information out there to still work on your talents and make the people benefit from your talents, you know. And even, you know, I say so, those talents can be from birth. uh, Also, sometimes those talents are passed in the family. It's in the DNA, from generations to generation, from a life to another. And this is what makes them divine. That this is why there are tools for you to make your talents and your passions are a tool for your soul to make you grow in that life. So it's nothing, but it's not nothing actually. It's everything for your way of living. And like I said, our goal in life is to be creative beings, and we got to take those talents and embrace them. And those talents, once you know how to put them in common good, for the common good, for better good, for the a good that benefit everybody, to make a whole with everybody. Um, when you work that way, this is where the learning process start to accelerate really greatly, and we can become really proud of it. Sometimes maybe too proud of it, but still, we grow those talents from a young age, and we have to be proud of those talents and what we can do as human beings, because like I always said, everybody makes mistakes in life, but also everybody has talents. It's normal to show them. It's normal to when we want to shine, and we. It's even better when we want other people to shine with our talents. There's a time to shine, and after that you can show people how to shine too with their talents. This is how we can build an ego actually. You exploit your talents, and you show the people not to exploit your talent, so to exploit the same talent that you have. But when you show people how to exploit your talents and how to put it in a purpose, when everybody benefits from them for a greater good, you can show them by example that they can take their talents, why they can shine in life, and also do the same thing as you. With their talents, they can shine and for the greater good as well. And this is how we can put everything together and shine and be proud of each other and be proud of ourselves. It's just another way to see our talents and our ego without dimming each other's light like we do in competition usually. And if you don't put your talents in the right direction, or not the direction that your path is going, you're gonna fail. And you know what, failing, it's not the worst thing in life. Everybody fails. I failed a lot in my life. And when you just repoint your talents in another way, say, I can try that way, maybe it's gonna be the good way. At one point you're gonna have a success and you're gonna be proud of it. But failing or not, this is what that gives sense to your ego, that you can build that ego, with those talents, those passions, and by sharing that passions, not with competition but with compassion. You share that and you build your ego the right way. And this is what brings me to pride, because it's really important to be proud of the talents you have. Really important to be proud um, when you practice your talents too. It's a little bit tough because sometimes we can be too proud, or we want that feeling, when we shine, when we show our talents to someone else. It's kind of tough because we want that energy. You like to shine, you like that when people send you good energy about it. But and we want to show that we want to shine. This is in our human nature, and this is the trap that we should not fall into when we are working on our ego, when we're working to make our ego shine. It's like there's time to be proud, and there's time to just erase yourself, and it's just about the timing, like I said. But you gotta embrace that pride for sure. And it always comes early, usually in the 20s or something, when we feel that we're invincible at certain moment. We feel that we're divine, and we think that our ego actually is invincible or divine because we don't know ourselves so much. So maybe we go too far with that pride, and we think that our ego is gonna destroy everything because because it's invincible. But actually, this is where usually we hit a wall and we fail, and we're like, okay, I got to do it in a different way. And sometimes it does uh, you sit in a different way, and you start to be really ashamed of yourself, and you can feel depression or something like that. But still, it's part of life, and we all have good reasons to be proud of ourselves. Like I said, we all have talents anyway. It's not because we all have talents that we should not be proud. I think pride is a beautiful feeling that we should all embrace, because at the end of the day, our soul is really divine and eternal and invincible, and this is where we can take pride. If we just put our ego aside, you can really understand that we should be proud of that soul itself, that share those talents for a greater good, to connect with other people. And when we can connect to those people and be proud of the way we create and the way we connect with them, it's just amazing. And we know that it's the right way to do it. We can try to compare ourselves with everybody, with our pride, and saying, oh, maybe I can be more proud than this person. And it's really easy with the social networks these days. We try to be more special than the others, to be we want that pride, that competition, and we think that it can give us some values, but we have to recognize that at the end of the day, talents or not, or the way we find to shine or not, doesn't give us more values, because everybody has the same values. Everybody is essential. Everybody deserves love, the same amount of love together. Uh, and we think that everything and everybody in life are, we can qualify and quantify them, but actually we can't. We all so unique, and we all divine, that we all have talents, and we all make mistakes. It's not about the way we can shine more than the others. It's just the way we can genuinely shine, actually. And with all those talents and that pride that is building, we even, like, we get better and better, because we don't stop to practice those talents, actually. And we want to be right at one point. This is in the world, in what world we're living right now. We got so much information. We studied so much about what's going on in the world. Everybody is kind of a pro right now about what's going on in the world, and we want to prove that we're right. And that's a tough one, because we can be proud of our talents. And talents, I can say, if you're smart enough that you figure out how what is going on in the world right now. uh, First, nobody really figured it out yet, but I mean, you can have a lot of information to say, okay, this is what I believe in, and you're smart enough. That's a talent. Everybody's smart, and if you use your brain more than somebody who used his body by working out more, good for you. But we cannot, proving that we're right is kind of a trap too, because it's kind of a tough one, and we still get into that competition way of thinking. Um, but the question I want to ask you is, why do you want to prove that you're right? What is the cost of that, and why you want to prove you're right? Is it just because you want to be right? Is it because you want to convince other people, or you want just to push everybody else down and say, I'm right, you're wrong? Or you want to help people to realize, um, some people, they just don't want other people to insult their rights, their human rights. It's like, I'm pretty sure I'm right. I'll let you think whatever you want, but I don't want you to tell me what to do. And that's normal too. And this is where the ego should say, okay, I I don't want you to tell me what to do. Do whatever you want. I don't want. And this is not a bad way to use the ego. I mean, it's that, or we let everybody do everything to us, and this is not a good thing, because we should at least have a self-respect, or of a respect of ourselves, to make some boundaries and say, I I won't take that. And it's kind of the ego that talks at that point. It's taking the reins of our own life, and this is it, and this is that way that when we grow up, We just don't want to shine and to be proud of what we do and what we know, but also we can, if we think we're better in one field, if you practice that talent more, even if it's a field that everybody like, just knowing what's happening in the world, if you think you're good, you have a great view of what's happening in the world right now, um, and you practice that talent more and more, you can say, okay, I want to show the world, I can shine and show the world and take kind of a leadership to it, and at one point we want to show an example to be, okay, I can take that talents and be the leader on that talents and show my way of working. And we're kind of convinced that it is the way it works, and it's kind of a trap too, because we all have our own way to learn things, and it's not because your way worked for you that it's going to work for somebody else. And also, it's all about freedom again. You cannot tell someone to convince someone about something that they don't. It's all about freedom. You cannot interfere with their freedom. If they don't want to accept something, you cannot force them something that they don't want to accept, of course. um, this is where we have to choose how we want to live, and not let everybody else to choose for us. We choose for us, and everybody choose for themselves. But we can show them the way, like someone who have the light at the beginning of in a trail, leading the trail, in the dark, and someone has the light and ask people, you want to go that way or that way? I have the light, but I can. Let's decide all together, and this is how leadership should go, when we are proud enough to assume that we have talents, that we worked on those talents. We know that we're good, but we don't want to dim other people's light. And then we're like, okay, let's show everybody's way in their way. Let's show the way, but I won't force them to go in that way without forcing them or something like that. This is what brings me. I hope it's clear. I know for this one it's kind of tough because the ego itself is kind of tough to talk about. But that's what's gonna bring me to the third step of it, and it's developing some leadership. Leadership is part of the ego also, So let's just resume. We have the talent and the passion, we have the pride, and now we have the leadership. It's kind of a gradation to build the ego. But a great leader never push people, They're gonna remove the obstacles, they're gonna show the way, but they never push people. But we have to be conscient of our talents, of our personality, and we have to be proud to be a simple human being, to know that we have flaws like everybody, but we are so strong when we put our ego aside. And we can feel ready to show other people's the way to go, without forcing them into that way. It's like giving some training, to help people to figure something in life. um, and it's a really good thing for those people who does it with integrity, like I said. But everybody is different, and everybody has a different way to learn. It's really, really easy to just fall into that trap, to the I'm right, you're wrong, because everybody is different, and it's not because you're right that I'm wrong, and it's not because I'm right that you're wrong. We can both be right. We can both be wrong. And everybody has a different luggage in their shoulders, from their past, from their education, their experience. And once again, if I take Jesus as an example, like the Saint Anger, um, or when everybody shares information on social medias about the emergency state, at one point we have to be ready to, even, I don't want to say fight a little bit, but still say, okay, I will take that, or I won't take that for sure. We have to, not considering yourself, like I said in the last episode, or the other one before. Not considering yourself is as bad as considering yourself too much. So if someone wants to if someone wants to take away one of your freedom, or hates you, whatever, you have to take your ego and say, I won't let it happen, and it's not bad. And you can even show people how to do that, it's just a way to tell you that the ego is not always bad. It's there to bring you up too. You just not have to bring you up, despite or bring you up and dim other people's light, because your freedom stops when the other people freedom starts. So it's the same thing the other way around, the other people, they have freedom too, but don't never let them interfere with your freedom. If you feel your freedom is shattered, you just have to fight for it. And I'm not saying like fighting violence or whatever, but still, if you think like on social medias or whatever, if someone write to you that you don't know nothing or whatever, you can say, I think I'm right and I think you're not wrong, without being mean or without being, you can still, um, yeah, you can still take the lead and say, okay, this is what I think, and I encourage people I'm gonna give those informations there, and if you wanna follow the way I follow, you're welcome, and you can open your arms into your reality. You open your arms wide and you tell people, just come in my reality now. It's kind of tough because we have to show people that we're strong, but at the same time, that we're strong, but that we really want to hold on what we love, and especially on in grab a hold on the people we love, and we want to protect the people we love. And it's tough because everybody has their own way to go, or on path, and it's tough something to not interfere in either someone that like an enemy's path, quote unquote, or into a loved one's path. Everybody has their path, and they have things to learn by themselves. And even if you want to take the lead on some point, you have to realize that everybody, they have their own path. So it is still um, a question of timing. You should find the right timing to, like I said, you have the light in the dark, and you just showing the way. And if people, they want to take their own path, you can let them do their things. You know your own anyway. And we all know that other people, they specialize in other field, in other talents. This is why we all have talents, and we have to share it together. We can share what we know. We can share what we have. It's like you bringing something to the table. It's an expression, I know, but you bring something to the table. Everybody's bring something to the table, and after that, you take whatever you want that's on the table to evolve the best you can. The big mistake to do with your ego is to think that you can bring everything to the table, and at the same time, take everything at the table. You gotta share with other people. You gotta and you gotta assume, or you gotta acknowledge that you cannot bring everything to the table, and you will always miss something. You have to find it your own way too. And we just have to, this is what brings me to humility, because we have to acknowledge that we're strong. When we acknowledge that our ego is weak, we can really acknowledge that we're divine and we're invincible. This is how we destroy our own ego, by knowing that we all make mistakes, and even if we lead, we still should have a space to learn. This is in the Tao teaching. They said too that it's where when a vase is empty, that we can fill it. And this is the way we should keep our mind, empty, in a way that we can still have information, we can still learn, and we're learning every day. Even the greatest leader, they learn every day. And this is how you can show the way, by showing people that you're not perfect, by showing people that you can lead, because you can show them special things, but you can learn also special things. And this is really what brings me to humility. Leading, it's all about doing it for the right reason and for a common good, and not to shine in front of everybody. You have the light, and if someone let's say you're in the wood, in the dark, you have the light, and someone find a secret path to go somewhere and say, I know that way, it might be easier or something. You can just give the light to that person and say, yeah, let's go, let's show, I mean, I'm gonna be right behind you if you have any problems. I have my special skills and I can help you lead the way. This is what I had to say about leadership. And this is why I want to talk now about humility, because humility is kind of the tool that allow us to break our own ego and to break in many pieces, but also humility, it's the glue that can make us rebuild it in a way that we just have to position it in the right way to use our ego for a greater good. Because after being confident, having talents, growing those talents, capacities, and acknowledging our own divinity with pride and with leadership, we know deep down what we're worth, and we're all divine. Like I said, we all have the same values at the end. But the question that we can ask ourselves is like, do I need to prove it? Do I need to prove it that I can shine? When I know that everybody can shine, is it to prove it or just to help humanity to rise all together? This is a question you need to ask yourself. And when you ask yourself that question, the pride, the talents, the leadership all makes sense, because you don't need to shine. You don't need to prove you can shine, because everybody can shine. We all human, we all divine, we all can shine. You don't need to prove it. You can shine to help humanity to rise. You can shine to uplift humanity, and this is the way we should shine. This is the only reason you should shine. This is how we can destruct our own ego and rebuild it. And this is the same question. Is it really useful to say I'm right, you're wrong? Yeah, I mean, if someone tried to steal your rights, maybe, but I mean, except that, is it really useful when just to say I'm right, you're wrong? And at the end of the day, if I say that and we fight, will there be a winner from that? Because the big result of all of that will be hate, guilt, fear, and at one point you have the choice. Do I want to create fear and guilt and hate and anxiety, or I can just erase myself for a while and let people figure out their own life, because even if you wanted to prove something to someone else, if you create hate, the result will still be in creating hate, and this is not what you want. Everybody has the right to shine, and even if they shine not for the good reason, you can let them do it, especially if they don't interfere with your own freedom. And everybody can shine from a moment to another, if we want all to evolve all together, because shining is the way we evolve. And if we want to evolve all together, everybody has to shine their own way. And for that we have to learn that we have to let go of things. That's a tough one with our ego. Let go of our desires or of our objectives, and let go of proving things. We don't need to prove. Leading doesn't mean you need to prove. Leading is helping people, helping the way you can, because at the end of the day, life is really, it's done a beautiful way. And if you want to prove something for the good reason, for the greater good, there's going to be an opportunity that's going to open for you to shine. And life is life's job, or God's job, to open a window of opportunity and say, okay, it's your time to shine, and you can willingly open those opportunity to other people and say, okay, it's that people's time to shine, that person's time to shine, and you can do it. And this is what great leaders do, opening opportunity for other people to shine, so everybody can shine together and everybody can help uplifting everybody. And this is the best way to evolve. and it just like you just need to take those opportunity if you want to shine and say, ah, it's my turn. We all have talents and we all have flaws, but let's shine all together, you know. So what are the good reasons to shine? For me, and you know, because we need humility to find to think about those good reasons, you know. It's not about like trying to, like I said, prove yourself or to shine over the others, but it's all about first, the first law to respect is never to interfere in other people's individual freedoms. It's the law of one. We should never interfere in individual freedom, physically, mentally, or spiritually, and you should never let someone interfere with your freedom, you know. And this is where you can defend yourself also. And it goes to a point where even if if you don't know if someone gives you her or his approbation to give your opinion, just don't say it, because you go against his free will. If you give your opinions, even if you want to help that person and you think it's positive, if the person doesn't want to hear from you, and even if you don't know, just don't do it. You go against the other person's freedom without knowing it, you know. You got to know that that person should tell you. You got to be pretty sure for that person to be to agree willingly to welcome your opinion. And it's a tough one, you know. So I know sometimes you want to give your opinions to someone, and or on social media are quite different, because I think that if we have a Facebook page or something, it's because we want to connect and share different opinions. But even there, you know, we got to be really careful and not goes. And sometimes, you know, we when we fight or we want to give our opinions, we're like, okay, I want to shine over that person, I want to show how I'm smart or something, you know. Or what you can do too is just, can I give you my opinion? You can ask, can I give you my opinion? I don't want you to take it the bad way, or I don't know, you can ask before, and if that person say yes, now you're welcome to give your opinions, you know, because you don't want to go into the other person free will for nothing. And this is, our free will is the most important thing we have in our life, you know. And if someone doesn't respect the free will, your free will or someone else's free will, now you can go into their free will to correct the distortion. If it's not your business, don't do it if it doesn't touch you. But if that person goes into your free will, it is your job to protect your free will and say, I won't let that happen, you know. So and it's the first law of the universe. So sometimes, even if you want to shine and correct someone, if it doesn't affect you, just don't do it. It's not worth it. And this is what the great leaders do with humility. You need to let go of the, oh, I need to tell him that, I need to tell her that, and just say, that person's gonna figure out the way life's gonna bring it into their life, you know. And it's just a matter of balance between everybody's free will, you know. If we're all in the free will bubble, those bubbles should not interfere into other people's free will, because if someone accepts another person's opinion, those bubbles won't never hit, you know. Anyway, so humility, it's to let go even of on your missions, on your talents, you know. It's not because you have a talent that you have to shine it or to show it to everybody. Let's say you're drumming, you know that you have a good talent in drumming, you see someone else drumming, and you know everybody is enjoying, someone sings or whatever. You don't have to take the drum and be better than everybody. You have to let go of that, you know, and you have to let that person shine. You don't have to be better of everybody. You don't have to control everybody. That is real humility, you know. You have to let go of success, and that was a hard feeling in my life, really hard lessons that I have. You have to let go of success, because success doesn't reside on what you can have, but resides on what you can be, and it's different, you know. And being the best person you can, it's letting go of success and really focusing on the person you are, and just live your divine life, you know, and embodying your divine soul. um, and we have to let go of it's really tough to control ourselves, and and we have to let go of controlling other people. I know a lot of people, they have problem, anxiety or something with controlling themselves, so they try to control everything around and controlling other people. But I know it's a tough one, but when you achieve controlling yourself, controlling your own ego, stopping the anxiety and everything, you realize that you don't have to control everything around, and you can be good just by accepting everything around, and nothing annoys you anymore. The only thing is that as long that nobody is interfering into your free will, of course. The real humility, actually, it's to accept to wash other people's feet, and to serve your neighbor, just to uplift that person without uplifting yourself. That's the real meaning of washing someone else's feet. You don't care about what people will think about you, because you want the other people's feet to be clean, actually, and this is it, and this is where we realize that when we want to uplift someone else, everything that we learn today makes really much more sense. We feel way better, we feel that when we uplift someone else, or the whole world, with humility, with leadership, and with his humble divinity, with our humble divinity, with our talents. When we uplift someone else, we can uplift ourselves at the same time by creating something good, good deeds, good intentions, good energy, and that energy fulfill the other person, fulfill yourself, and fulfill everybody who's witnessed that. This is the way we can uplift the whole earth, the whole planet, by uplifting our neighbor, by by washing their feet. We can uplift ourselves and the world, and even if sometimes touching someone else's feet, or even someone we don't know, it's kind of gross, we can pass through that and wash everybody's feet. That is a picture that I'm talking about, but once again, your feet are mine, because we're just one after all, so it's all about humility to do everything we can to uplift humanity, to uplift our neighbor, because we will feel even better ourselves when we do that, and the whole world will be better if we do that too. And this is where we can try to rebuild our ego, with humility, and to put it at the right place, with leadership without desires, and being proud to be finally connected with our own divinity that we found right behind our ego, and knowing that everybody can do it, but you can dedicate your life to do it the best way you can. This is what a great leader do, and you expose your own talents, your own passions, your own mission, and you put it on the greater good for everybody, that one that makes us live, that makes us evolve, um, and this is kind of the beginning of a collective evolution after that, humility to make us shine, not for the picture of ourselves, but for a better energy and a better evolution for everybody. And now that you destroy your own ego, you can kind of rewatch that video. I'm going to try to just come back and resume it, because humility makes everything stick together. You can rebuild your ego and make it shine without wanting to prove yourself, but because you want to uplift everybody, because managing our ego, it's like infinite cycle. Sometimes you will have to destroy it again and rebuild it, and redestroy and rebuild it, in a way that at one point you really like shape it the way you want. You have a better control on yourself, you have a better control on life, and you can also uplift everybody and create better energy for everybody without proving yourself. Because I know you can shine, I know that you can shine a lot, but everybody can shine. And if we all connect that light together, if we all shine together, we create so much light, so much love, that this is how we can evolve all together. After that, we can come back to the question on our talents, how to shine, to make our talents and yeah, our talents shine with humility. How to put our talents with humility and to make it shine for the greater good. When to make it shine, of course, and when we can let other people shine to make them evolve in their own way too. When when you're ready to give the light to someone else, okay, it's your time to lead, it's your time to shine. And after that, we can define what makes us proud about it, being proud of initiating a success altogether, a commune success, uh, and to make people feel good, being proud that everybody can feel good with your talents, without any glory, but just the accomplishment of elevating the whole humanity can makes you feel proud with your talents and your passions and with sharing. And after that, you can even take the leadership and to show the real path to the others, to preach with the example, not with your with your words, but with your example, and to be the best person you can be. Because like I said, success is not what you have, it is what you are, for yourself, for everybody else, and for life itself. And you can show that it's really possible to shine at the right moment, and it is possible to for everybody else to shine too. There is a good timing for everything, as above so below, and it's time to take the reins of the leadership to uplift humanity, everybody together, all as one, because this is what we are. We're all one. So I send you a lot of light and love. And that's going to be it for that podcast today. I love you. Thank you for watching this one. I know that was a complicated one, but still, I had to talk about the ego a little bit more. I hope you can find a way to build it, destructing it, and positioning it in a way that we can all work together to make everybody shine. Like I said, love you guys. Be strong, be prepare, and be well informed. I love you.